Hey everyone! Welcome! I am here today with a new show, or at least it's new to me, called Chernobyl. It feels weird to be saying that so happy, but I'm very excited to be watching it with you today. If you're joining me early today, you know what it means. It means you are one of my awesome patrons. Thank you so much, and as always, I'm sending you up those big old hugs right through that screen. And if not, still thank you for joining me today. I'm really glad you're here. I do hope you'll consider supporting me that way. The link to my Patreon is going to be in the description down below. So I don't know anything about this show other than the obvious implication from its name. Usually, like, sometimes I'll be able to go into a show like totally blind. The name doesn't I can't guess anything really from the name, or the name isn't really like in line with what the show is about. But this one, I'm pretty much, I have a vague idea of what to expect. And I know that a lot of you guys have told me it's really good, but it's really, really heavy. So I'm not, as the name would imply, I'm not expecting, happy, fluffy show. But I'm sure it's going to be some really great drama. So that's about all I've got. I'm really going into this one other than like the obvious background info that can be inferred from the name. I'm going in pretty much blind. I hear it's a great series. I know it's only a few episodes. I'm about to start up here with episode 1. So what do you say we go ahead and get started? Let's go. All right, you guys, that was so good. So I have to admit, it felt like kind of a slow start, but I think that the kind of slow build to everything is what makes it feel so realistic and so daunting when you really start to realize what's going on, and when you start to see the different reactions to what's going on. If you didn't have that slow build, if it was all paced like a fast-paced action movie or show, I think it would kind of take you out of it a little bit, and it wouldn't feel as real. There's something about like the slower pace, like just seeing everything going on in the people's lives and everything, and it does kind of make it feel like mundane enough so that when you start to realize, you're kind of like realizing what's going on along with everyone, and it really, I think, makes you put yourself in the situation a little bit more, that like these were just like working Joes and everything, and just like there was just a series of just bad calls over this, and it was a situation where they really did a good job making it feel like a situation where like that could have, and it did happen in real life, but like it made you feel like you were watching real events, like this is just kind of like happening and unfolding, and you can almost kind of justify at first how like, oh, all right, well, this is impossible, it must be this, and they're kind of like hemming and hawing around, they don't want to panic anyone, and you really get that sense of like, you can see how this would have unfolded, you know what I mean? So I think the slow build actually helps with that. And the guy that we see at the end, I guess he's going to be on like a panel, and he's like an expert in these reactor cores. He's the one who makes this big series of tapes in the beginning of the episode and then hangs himself. So I thought it was kind of interesting to start with. Sorry, my computer started to have a heart attack. So anyway, I thought it was really interesting to start with, kind of the end of this story, and then sort of like backtrack our way up to like where we meet the guy from the beginning of the episode at the end of the episode. I think the hardest part for me was like watching all the just like families who are just standing around, and people who are standing around with like kids and everything, just saying like, oh, it's just like a fire, and the kids are just like playing around in the ash, and of course, like if all the info you're getting is it's just a fire, it's fine, it's safe, you're probably not going to like doubt that or question it or, you know, kind of like raise an eyebrow at it until you see it like firsthand. Like the people who are seeing firsthand, like people getting sick, people getting burns, like they started to put it together. But it really, you know, it just really kind of started to get like frustrating when you see the way that it was handled. Because, you know, okay, obviously something happened. It, you know, nobody at this point really knows what happened, but there's just like supposedly no way that a core like that can explode. But we all know it did, but they're kind of still trying to put it together and they're still big time in denial. But then to see kind of like how it was handled in terms of, you know, well, we can evacuate people or we can kind of like try and keep them from panicking and we're like pretty sure it's fine. So let's just, you know, and the whole like kind of like cut them off from everything. It's like, I think the idea was kind of to protect them from themselves and protect them from panicking. But, yeah, I mean, even if it was like a totally fine situation, like, I don't know. But the thing is, like, even if there was any doubt, like, even if there was no doubt, like, it seems like as a precaution, just to, like, get everyone out. Like, even the guy on the phone, the guy that we know from the beginning of the episode was like, yeah, but, like, you should probably just get them all out anyway, you know? Like, just... And I get, like, how that would be a very, very tough decision to make. Because, you know, if you, like, evacuate everyone and it's nothing, your credibility is gone. And you've, like, upset a whole entire town for, like, nothing. But at the same time, like, even if you're 99.9% sure there's nothing wrong, in this case, like, it was the off chance that it just happened to have exploded. And so it's just really hard, like, watching all those people knowing, like, they did such a good job just, like, cinematically of, like, showing the graphite and the ash and, like, just sort of focusing on it and focusing on just people just being in it and, like, having no idea of the danger. And I think, like, I said this throughout the episode, but I think this is what really got to me, and this was the scariest part for me, was that, you know, if it had been something like that instantly showed all the signs of danger and just, like, immediately started killing people, hurting people, whatever, it would have been a very different situation and it would have been awful. But the fact that it was such a slow onset, I think just makes it even more, like, drawn out and terrifying, because you can see people slowly starting to get sick. You can see certain people starting to put it together. And even, like, the people who are in huge denial, when they start to put it together, it just, like, everything about it is kind of like a slow release. Like, the issue itself was a slow release, and, like, the effect, I feel like, on the audience is sort of a slow release. So, but wow. I'm like, I can't wait to see what happens next, but, like, it's drawing me in, but at the same time, it's not even like a mystery thriller kind of, it's just like, you just can't stop watching, even though it's, like, heavy and sad. So I can tell this is going to be a heavy one, you guys. My initial thoughts are that it is a bit of a slow build, but that's definitely intentional, because that is precisely what makes the, you know, when something does happen, so impactful. I'm not really attached to any particular character yet, but I can tell you I felt so bad for, like, just the people, the kind of, like, civilians just kind of standing around who had no clue what was going on. The couple of guys that, like, were trying to just, like, be studious and do their jobs. even though they kind of like, they knew they were just still gonna try. So I think I'm probably gonna get more attached to like different people as we go. Like already by the end, like I have a couple people that I'm not crazy about, like the the one guy who's just like such a jerk just from the beginning about everything. And I can feel myself like getting frustrated, like, no, can't you see what's really going on? So I can tell this is going to be a heavy dramatic series for me. It's going to really pull me in. It's going to frustrate me in the best way possible. And I can't wait to see. I can't wait to see, but at the same time, I'm like scared to see what's going to happen next. Because you just know they're going to drag everyone through the ringer, like the whole town. Oh. All right, guys. I really found that very interesting. It's weird to say like I enjoyed it. I did enjoy it as a show, but I'm really looking forward to seeing more. And thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed watching it along with me. Despite the heaviness of the show, I think it's going to be a great show. So please be sure to join me next time, and we will watch it together. I'm gonna need you to get me through this, guys. So we definitely need to watch it together. So I will see you then. Bye for now, guys.